you're really great in bed, then it means that you're capable of connecting intimately, more than just like going through the mechanical motions. Because nobody who goes through the mechanical motions in anything, in a sport, in playing music, or in art and poetry, and really anything. Anybody that just kind of mails it in, that just knows the mechanical motions, but isn't able to connect with what they're doing, is never going to be great, and we know that. And it's got to be at least 100 times as true for sex. But the reality is, even without any of that stuff, the bar is set super critically, ridiculously low. And it's set super low because, nobody's learning how to do this from any sources that count. Most people, particularly young people, are learning everything that they know about sex through porn because they were exposed to it at such a young age. And so they watch that and they're like, well, I guess that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And, porn is pretty specific, and it's specifically, generally for men. And it's only visual, right? You can't touch and all that stuff, which I think when I was growing up, and I would hope that, most of the younger guys watching this would agree that, looking at it was one thing, which you want, like a real woman of flesh and blood, and, the feeling, the touching thing. Sex is mostly a touching thing, not mostly a watching thing. But if you grow up with porn, you watch enough porn, sex becomes much more of a visual thing in your brain than a touching thing. And that just ain't so. That just ain't how good sex happens. But it's a visual thing. So there's certain things they've got to do in porn that are, visually appealing for men to watch. And none of these things, or many of these things, don't feel particularly good. They work for the camera. And so you got to work with what works for the medium you're working in, which is the camera, right? So, and it's not about the camera, the angle, the lighting, or any of that when it comes to actual sex with an actual partner. Now, how low is the bar set? Now I've always known that it was set pretty low because I've had so many men or couples come to me, giving them like just the smallest tip, the slightest information, that came back as the best sex of their lives from maybe 5 seconds worth of information, which I'm going to give to you. So I'm just telling you that I've always known that the bar was set super low, that you could do very little to make a man or a woman think that you are the greatest in bed. And like I said, particularly if you're a man, the bar is set super low. I think, for women, it's easier because there are certain performance things that are not expected of them. And if you're an attractive woman and you just kind of are available for sex, most men will be like, well, that was great. But believe me, there's much higher levels for women as well. Now, I was recently reading Carol Gilligan's book, Girls and Sex. All of Carol Gilligan's books are fantastic, if somewhat too. She's got a very political agenda, and if you don't like liberal politics, you might not like her books. But outside of that, her research is good, and the stuff that she'll tell you about women, and particularly what it's like to grow up as a woman, it's pretty important. Her research is good. She's really interviewed thousands and thousands of women about their experience with sex and growing up sexually as women, and it's kind of depressing. But one of the things that she says, which I've also seen validated in my own work with men, women, and couples, is that men and women have a very different way of talking about what it is they want out of sex. Now, what I've discovered in my work is that men and women say they want very different things out of sex, but really they're just using different words, that at the root of it, they actually want pretty much the same things. They want it to feel really good. They want to feel like they're really sexy, like, wow, when I'm doing it, I feel fucking hot and sexy. Like, men want to feel that way, women want to feel that way. We want to feel good, we want to have orgasms, we want it to be erotic, we want to, there's like a bunch of things that we want, and they're basically the same as humans, whether you're a man or a woman. But Carol Gilligan was saying that specifically she asked about what do you think great sex feels like? And when she asked young men about this, they said, pleasure and orgasm. And when she asked young women about this, they said things like, oh yeah, that was great sex because it didn't hurt. There was no pain. It was like the primary, that was the number one thing actually, it was no pain. Or that, I didn't feel awkward, or he didn't do anything super weird or ask me to do something super weird. And it turns out, it's not that surprising, that only 1 in 3 women ever have an orgasm in partnered sex. Now, it's 1 in 7 for intercourse, but just partnered sex, oral sex, fingering, petting, including everything. If there's a guy in the room, a woman only has a 1 in 3 chance of having an orgasm, which is considerably lower than if she were alone. So not only, when I say the bar is set low, I mean she'd have better sex without you in the room if you're a man most of the time. Most men, she has better sex when he's just not there. That's a pretty low bar, right? I think we can agree that the bar for great sex is pretty low if she has better sex without you, right? So, yeah, it doesn't hurt, and if you give her an orgasm, I guess you're king. Which even that is not, I think, enough to qualify as great sex. Now, she also found in her study that women are 4 times more likely to engage in sexual activity that they don't like, that they don't want and they don't like, but they feel like they have to. They feel compelled to do it. I know that happens to men sometimes too, but it happens to women 4 times more often, and it probably shouldn't happen at all, particularly if he doesn't know, if it's not like an ask. Women are frequently saying that men are doing all kinds of weird shit to them right off the bat without asking if this is okay or anything, just because they saw it so many times in porn. They just thought, oh, this is just what people do. And it ain't necessarily just what people do. So again, the bar is set super, super low. Now, I have, a ton of other videos here up on YouTube that talk about all kinds of specific sexual techniques that you can do to be much better in bed. I'll give you an important one right here and now. But just know that there's a lot of resource out there, that it's not hard. Like I said, the bar is set low. It's pretty easy to learn a few basic things, most of which have less to do with how long you can last or how hard you get or how fast you get your hard on or anything like that. Most of it is really not about that. That stuff is the least important stuff, but it's the stuff that we're most concerned with as men. And listen, if you really want to dig more deeply into exactly how you can have a better relationship with a human and really get along well, have great sex, have lasting love, and all that kind of stuff, you should definitely figure out what your particular strong points and weak points are, and then get a custom assessment by taking my little love assessment quiz. It's just a fast track way of me understanding what your needs are and then offering you some good advice, and maybe even directing you to one of my programs so that I can get paid, which, I like getting paid. But here's the bottom line, guys. My book, Revolutionary Sex, sold a lot of copies, get ridiculous amounts of email back from men saying, oh my God, best sex of my life, from women saying, where were you? Thank you for teaching my husband. I mean, the whole book is really just about one thing. I mean, it's a lot of little, techniques and nuances and stuff are in there, but it's really all about one basic theme. You can save yourself a dime if you just learn this one thing, which is to pay attention, just to be present. Like, don't do what you think you're supposed to do. Don't do what they do in porn. Just really pay attention to the girl you're with, to the woman you're with, and really start to notice what she likes. The only way you're going to notice what she likes is if you're going slowly enough and trying different things and paying attention to what's working and what's not working. And generally what's working is going to be something that you want, something that you desire. Showing her how much you appreciate her and making her feel sexy, making her feel beautiful, by really enjoying her, not faking it, but by actually enjoying her, that's going to go a long way. Like, if a woman feels sexy, it's a lot easier for her to relax and enjoy the sexual experience with you. And women, I promised I wasn't going to leave you out. Listen, it really is the same thing in reverse. A man wants to feel sexy. He wants to feel like he's doing good. And if you can make him feel sexy, that's a big part of it. The other big part of it really for women is if you like your vagina, if you can learn to like your vagina, that's going to go a long way to great sex with him. Because most women either don't know anything about their vagina or they're kind of shy about it. And really quite a few women, maybe even most, particularly younger women, it's kind of like they're a little bit yucked out by their own anatomy, by their own genitals, and that sucks. That's stupid. I mean, he wants it, he likes it, you should like it too. There's a lot of weird stuff and jokes and whatever. Get over that stuff and really learn to understand that there is a miracle on your body that brings men a lot of pleasure, will bring you a lot of pleasure, and eventually is a gateway from which a new human will emerge. It's some pretty wacky, amazing stuff. Like your own body, like your own breasts, just like yourself. The more you like yourself, and that may mean spending some time in therapy, the better you're going to be in bed, because men really want to be with a woman who's confident in her own body, because it gives us a lot of permission to enjoy it. When you enjoy it, we can enjoy it. It's like a psychological feedback loop. And, then everybody has better time. It's better for everybody's self-esteem. And these things self-perpetuate. They build on each other, right? We all want to feel more confident. Now, if you have any comments or questions about this, I'm happy to dig in deeper. Just leave me a comment or a question below. I'm happy to respond to it. And of course, you should check out my love assessment quiz and, maybe pick up a couple of my programs on my website. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.